up, everybody? It is Friday. I almost said January. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, Friday, February 12th, 2016. Deadpool came out today, and we're going to have a very special review of it. Nick is not going to be here. Brandon was going to be here, and we're going to do a show about space, but didn't get a chance. Actually, honestly, none of us are able to get a hold of him today. So Brandon, we hope you're okay. But Nick is just apparently too busy being lazy and whatnot to get onto the show. So I'm going to talk about Deadpool for a little while. Yes, I'm going to be spoiling part of the movie. I'm not sorry. In fact, you should probably know that if you watch any of our videos when we talk about movies, we tend to give away spoilers. So we're going to talk a little bit about Deadpool today. Just before we get into this, I want you to understand the movie is amazingly done. Okay, it is probably my favorite movie in the superhero genre as of right now. Now, for those of you who are going to say, "But Deadpool's not a superhero," I'm going to say, shut the fuck up. I know he's not. Okay, I know Deadpool's not a superhero. I said superhero genre. This movie is essentially in the same line of films that the X-Men are. Okay, and I don't mean, the super bad version of Deadpool that was in X-Men Origins Wolverine. No, which, by the way, was also played by Ryan Reynolds. No, I do not mean that. I mean, this is fantastically done, okay? By X-Men, I mean this is a movie that actually more recent X-Men referenced. There is a line in there where Deadpool tells Colossus, "Tell Beast to stop shitting on my lawn." Okay. Now there's actually another throwaway joke in the movie, and I want to go ahead and get this, settled. That way we don't have to, that way it didn't come up later. Okay. There are only two actual X-Men in the movie. The first one being one of my personal favorites, Colossus, who in the credits is displayed as being a CGI character. Now, I have no problem with Colossus being CGI. It actually fits very well with the character because it's kind of hard to portray someone who's essentially living metal without being CGI. There's probably no way they could have realistically done the character other than CGI. So it's fine that Colossus is in here and that Colossus is CGI. Okay, I really enjoy the portrayal of him in the movie. Like I said, Colossus is one of my favorite X-Men. He has been since I was little. It's just always interesting to me, to see different versions of him, and this is easily my favorite one right now. He gives, long winding speeches. He's trying to get Deadpool to become a good guy, And if you know anything about Colossus in the past, like the one I grew up with, you know that Colossus is former Soviet Union, so he's essentially a bad guy who's become good, okay? And that works. He's done some bad things, and he's trying to get another bad guy to become good. It works, okay? I'm happy with it. You should be happy with it too. The other character in here is Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Now, her name was changed. Well, not her name was changed. The character design was actually changed. In the comics, she does not have the power she has in this. In the movie, I mean, but it was changed for the movie, and it actually works. It actually makes her a more functional character. Okay. The reason these two are in the movie is because they wanted to tie in all the superhero movies that we have right now that are from Marvel. For example, the Avengers, which does get a few quick mentions. I'm not going to go into those. You can find references everywhere else. But the Avengers gets a little bit of reference. Daredevil is kind of mentioned, but the X-Men get a lot of mention. There's even, a couple offhanded references to Spider-Man too. But you only see two X-Men in the movie, and this is one of the throwaway jokes. And of course, by throwaway, I don't mean it's a stupid joke. It was actually a very well crafted joke. The majority of the jokes in here are exactly what you'd expect. They're not. A lot of them are kind of lowbrow. A lot of them are very nasty jokes. But a lot of them break the fourth wall entirely. In fact, there's a scene in there where they're having a flashback, and Deadpool is talking about a fourth wall break within a fourth wall break, and that's 16 walls. Okay, and that's actually kind of cool. That was in there. But what you have with the X-Men is two X-Men show up for a reason, and the reason the movie is it's like they can only have two characters. The studio can only afford two characters, and that kind of makes sense when you think about it. But you do get to see the X-Men mentioned. Professor X is mentioned, and Colossus tells Deadpool that he's going to take him to see Professor X, and Deadpool says Stewart or McAvoy because the timelines are very confusing, and it's just little lines like that make it worthwhile. But before we get to the rest of the movie and what I thought about it, I want to re-show a graphic we showed I believe it was last week. This movie is not for children. Okay, I was actually very disappointed to see parents in there with little kids. Okay. And look, just like the graphic on screen says, this is not for your kids. Don't take your children to see Deadpool, okay? It is a violent movie. It is very profane. And yes, there are even some sex scenes in it. In fact, the major sex scene is extended and full frontal nudity multiple times for both men and women. Uh, it's just not a kid's movie. I'm sorry. It's not. Okay? Uh, the first word you see on screen, in the credits is douchebag. Okay? Now that may be a common word for a lot of people, but it's not. Okay? Don't take your children to see the movie. Period. Hands down. End of story. We're done with that, right? Good. Okay. But yes, I was very disappointed to see some parents taking their kids. Now, I'm not going to go into the full cast, but I do want to talk about at least Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds has worked for a very long time to get this movie made, and it's beautiful. Okay, this is the movie he's wanted to be in for a long time, and as most of you know, we've discussed it on the show before. He spent about 10 years of his life getting the movie made. It's fantastic. It's perfect. Okay, this is exactly what I would expect from a Deadpool movie. So of course, he of course plays Deadpool, and he references himself numerous times. He makes fun of Hugh Jackman a lot. There's a scene where near the end where he's actually stapled a picture of Hugh Jackman to his face, and he has a lot of magazines with Hugh Jackman on the cover. In fact, there's a scene where he's talking about one of his most prized possessions, but it's not what you see on screen. He's talking about something else that just is brought in, but it is an action figure of him from the Wolverine movie. And of course, there are numerous references to his last superhero movie where he played the Green Lantern. There's one where he has on sunglasses. He rips them away, and the sunglasses have a green rim, and they're shaped like his mask was in the movie. He talks about a super suit, and he says he didn't want a green super suit, and he does not want it to be animated. He has several Deadpool figures on his shelf. He interacts with the camera. I mean, it's beautifully done. Okay, him being Deadpool is exactly what you want. You want this to be Deadpool. Okay, there's no one else at this point who I think could be in the movie. Okay, but I do want to give a lot of credit to Marina Baccarin, of course, because not only is she beautiful, not only is she talented, She's beautifully talented in this movie. Okay, um, she carries her role perfectly, and she's very believable, and she matches so well with Ryan Reynolds on screen. It's kind of hard to believe these two are not actually together in real life. It really is. But it's beautiful, and I can't think of another co-star for the movie, for her role than her. I really can't. It's worth seeing. But now that we've discussed them, I do want to talk about, yes, there is a sex scene, and yes, you're seeing a short clip of it right there. Well, not clip, just the image of it. There's more that you see than this. Okay, so when I say, don't take your kids because the nudity and everything like that, this is the nice happy version of what's on screen. Okay. Anyway, most of the movie in Deadpool takes place around a particular sequence, and it's what opens up the movie. It's what the movie is about. Huge chunks of it are actually um, talking about what's happened in the past. Like how Deadpool became Deadpool, how he got his name, him creating his costume, him looking for bad guys and everything. Uh, and that all is shown in kind of flashback sequences. Okay, most of the sequence is involved around the bridge, and if you've seen the trailer, you've seen the biggest chunk of the bridge action sequence. Okay, but during this sequence, Deadpool kills a lot of bad guys. He creates a lot of destruction, and there is some very humorous comedic interaction with a cab driver that starts it all off. It's wonderful. This is where he's sitting on the railing, drawing a picture, listening to the song "Shoot." Okay, and it's good. It's amazing. He only has, I believe, 12 rounds of ammunition. He should have brought more, but he didn't. He actually forgot his backpack, which is a Hello Kitty backpack, by the way. Yes, Hello Kitty is in here. He has an Adventure Time watch. I mean, he references everything you can possibly imagine. It's beautifully done. Okay, but the bridge sequence, he manages to kill all the bad guys but one with only like 12 bullets. Okay, it's really really well done. Uh, the fight sequences are very well choreographed. Just the way the movie looks is amazing. It's actually very believable, and it goes by so quick. I mean, like, the nearly 2 hours, was in theater. It didn't even seem like it was that long. It was just, it's paced perfectly. Uh, Beautiful graphics, wonderful writing. In fact, the critics even say that it's actually the writers who are the true heroes of the movie, and I can get behind that. The dialogue in the movie is spot on. It's exactly what you would expect from a Deadpool movie. So if you have time this weekend, I would sincerely suggest that you go see it. In fact, I can guarantee you Nick would even say go see it, and probably Brandon. Okay, even though it might not be Brandon's type of movie, I'm sure he would say go see it. Okay, so if you, in fact, I'm probably going back tomorrow again to see it. It's seriously that good. It might actually be my favorite movie of the year so far, and that's including, even though I know it came out, at the very, very tail end of 2015, it's including Star Wars, okay? Deadpool is seriously good. Just don't take your children. I mean, literally, the movie could have been NC-17, but it got an R rating because they were very nice about it. So go see it. Go enjoy it. Have a good time. And we will talk to all of you maybe tomorrow. Maybe we might try and squeeze our show in tomorrow at some point in time, because I know we didn't do it. We didn't do anything on Wednesday, and that's 2 weeks in a row we haven't had our 3 episodes a week. But we'll try and do something tomorrow. If not, we'll talk to all of you Monday. Have a good weekend, and like I said, go see Deadpool. Please remember to like this video, comment on it, share it, subscribe to the channel, like us on Facebook, and tell us what you think about what we have to say. Leave your comments. If you enjoyed the movie, let us know. If you didn't, let us know. Yeah, we'll talk to you later, everybody. Bye bye.